Yay, yay, yay. It's another edition of Fabulous Feature Friday. I'm Susan Bach, and I'm so delighted you're with us today because we have just a super, super extraordinary, extra special guest with us, Jessica. Jessica is the founder of, I have to read this to make sure I get it absolutely right, and I just lost it. Behind the Curtain VAs. Don't you love that? Behind the Curtain. I met Jessica just over a year ago, or about a year ago, when she started her business, and for me, it was love at first sight. So I'm so honored to be able to introduce you to Jessica. Unknowingly, you have already seen some of her magic, some of her work, because she is the master behind the curtain of the memes that you see in the posts every day. So welcome, Jessica. Delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's good to finally meet you. It's great to get to spend an afternoon with Susan anytime.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Thank you. So let's just jump right in. And I would love for you to share with the audience how, where, or why you found the courage to start your business a year ago. What was instrumental or pivotal for you to start it at that time?
At this point last year, I had resumed a search. I've gone through that phase several times in my life where I found myself searching for the next best thing for my family, what was going to get us to the place where we really want to be, and still keep us as parents present as much as possible with our kids. And I've worn a lot of different hats in the last 25 years. I've always had a very unusual schedule because of that. And I was finally able to graduate from college. I was really proud of that, very excited, and really felt like God was going to put the job right there for me. And he didn't. The doors started closing, and I found myself going, well, I did everything I was supposed to do. Where's that job? And I quite literally stumbled across a newer rebirth, so to speak, of the virtual assistant culture, and got kind of hooked on that and started dialing in and started to see that maybe I wasn't supposed to find the perfect job, but I was supposed to build the business that works for my family and not the other way around. And so this time last year, I was still teaching and working in a long-term care facility and actively trying to build a business that I could then step back away from all of that and into my home and into more of my gifts.
So what I'm hearing from you, Jessica, is that what you thought your future was going to be after you graduated from college, although it was 25 years later than what you thought it was going to be, and you had
Absolutely.
a family of 4, and you thought you knew what the next step was going to be. It sounds to me like the universe had another plan in store for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A completely different plan that I had anticipated. I had started out motherhood 20 odd years ago, hoping to be an entrepreneur, really wanting to do crafts and sell my wares at craft shows, and needing to put a roof over your child's head really precluded that dream. And so we focused on other things and really just thought if we put in the time and did all the work that it would work. And several other kids later, and lots of ups and downs with jobs and life, we realized that we need to build the life that's going to work for us, not try to find it somewhere else.
That is so insightful. And now that you have found that, Jessica, can you imagine anything else?
No. No, I actually did the dishes while I took a meeting yesterday. It was one of those things where I've always felt divided. Like if I was at work, I had to be at home. If I was at home, I should be at work. And yesterday was just and today, a prime example of how I can do the things that I need to do and that I'm good at, and get all those other things done as well. And it's perfect. I'm not sure. I couldn't go back, I don't think.
I don't think you'll need to from the success that you've experienced. So the next question I'd like to ask you, Jessica, is what have you learned about yourself in this past year since you launched your business?
I've learned that anxiety is probably a bigger player in my life than I ever thought. I wouldn't have said I was an anxious person, wouldn't have considered myself diagnosable prior to this But a real cataclysmic event with me led me to realize that I was really just coping with anxiety my whole life. It's always been in my wheelhouse, and that I'm not alone. I didn't anticipate that. I've been very lonely throughout all of my careers and felt like I was isolated. And I've stepped into this world to be among so many people who share so many of my characteristics and challenges and desires. So to work with so many less people, but feel so much more comfortable and welcomed has been a big surprise.
That's great. I think for most women entrepreneurs, it can be very lonely, because for most of us solopreneurs, we work at home. We may be alone a good part of the day, even though thanks to technology, we have Zoom and other ways of keeping connected with people. There still is a lot of alone time. Mm-hmm. And for me, and it sounds like for you, what you've discovered is as you have created this community or stepped into the community that was there, you discovered that you're really not alone.
Absolutely. Probably made some of the best connections of my life in the last year. And it's given me courage I didn't realize I needed. And it's given me a sense of belonging that I've never had.
Oh my gosh, just feel that. I just got chills when you said that. A sense of belonging. So you know in your very heart and soul that now you are exactly where you need to be, right?
Absolutely.
In
Absolutely.
your uniqueness. So let's talk for a few minutes. Share with the audience exactly what your uniqueness is and what you love to do and that you get paid to do.
Okay. Really one of my gifts is that I love to work behind the scenes. Not a big fan of being center stage, so we're a little outside my comfort zone here, but I really do love helping other people achieve their goals and their dreams. So the name of my business was very intentional. I chose Behind the Curtain on purpose because I wanted to really be the support structure behind folks who had big dreams and wanted to get things done. And my skill set revolves around admin tasks. I'm very good at organizing things, getting things together, and getting a plan and bringing that to fruition. And then all the little pieces that go with that. And along that discovery, I found that I really enjoy writing and editing. And so I've grown my business a little bit to not only just include the admin and the social media, but also to include some freelance writing, and then also editing. I was able to do a 4-book series for an author who's successful in Germany, but she's launching here in the United States. And so I was able to help her with that transition. And it was a lot of fun. So I have discovered another thing I didn't realize I was good at.
I think that's part of the beauty of when we do step into this entrepreneurial world and I'll say giving ourselves permission to be who we are, to embrace our uniqueness and share our gifts with the world is when we discover that we have so much more to share.
Yeah.
Like you, I didn't realize that I loved to write until I was in my own business. And it was like, where did this come from? I didn't know I could do this, or I didn't know that it would give me such joy and pleasure. Mm-hmm. So as we discover these things that truly nurture our soul and feed our bank account,
yes,
it's like a double blessing. It's the frosting on the cake.
It really is. And to have had experiences over the years with lots of different roles and positions and companies, and to have been a physical caregiver, and then also to be an admin and to do teamwork, and then to be a supervisor and do all of these different roles, and to realize in each one of those places I had a single or just a few of my facets that I could really access and have freedom with. And this has been a great opportunity because I can literally kind of polish the whole gem, and I can really be all of those things and not just whatever fits in the box.
That's beautiful analogy. It's not just one facet of the gem, it's the whole gem. I love that.
No, that's the writing thing. It's kind of growing on me.
So in summary, just a brief recap, in less than a year, you have launched your business, thinking that it was going to be primarily behind the scenes admin support managerial work.
Okay.
Discovered that you have a ability for writing, ghostwriting, editing. You now have clients internationally in less than a year.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
It has been quite a ride. I'm really still in awe, actually, myself. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, is this really my life? You know, life enters in and reminds me, yes, this is really your life, and everything outside of this is still the same. But this has been a tremendous gift, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, I'm very grateful that our paths crossed, Jessica, because you have been an inspiration to me in so many ways. And here you are, a busy mom of four, running a household, tracking the kids, if that's the right word, managing the house, managing the children, managing life, managing a business. I mean, those are, each one alone is a huge undertaking.
It can be. I've not known it to be any different. It's always been my life. I've had kids for the last 24 years, so I don't know any different. I think stepping into the role of business owner has been a little bit more of a challenge because I felt like this is too easy sometimes. Does that make sense?
Really?
Well, because work was always associated with that hardness, that pull, that difficulty of not being in my comfort. And so to be at home in my comfort and doing what I like to do, I sort of feel like I'm getting away with something.
That reminds me of a conversation I think you and I have had in the past about, I used to associate work with struggle, because that's what I was taught is work is hard. And so it became a struggle for me. So I was always in struggle. Well, when I started my business, it was a very different struggle. But what, like you just shared, what I realized is that I could spend more time doing what came easily and effortlessly, and there was so much less struggle.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Huge. Okay, next question is, from your vantage point of today, this all-knowing person you are today and knowing what you know, what advice would you give to yourself a year ago or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I would have said, don't stop blogging. Don't give up. Keep going, even if it doesn't make sense. Last year, I would have said, hurry up. Yeah, I often find myself wondering why it took me so long to get over myself, but I'm glad I did.
Well, like so many of us, it's only when we get out of our own way that we really step into our power. And that it's a fearful big step because we're stepping into unknowing.
Yes.
And sometimes comfort is found in just doing the same thing every day. There is a certain amount of comfort in the predictability of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it is also incredibly confining. It keeps us so small. Whereas now, stepping into your uniqueness and into the unknowing, it's like a whole new world has opened up for you.
I think over the last year, the one thing that helped me, one of the things that helped me the most was to realize, you know, you hear the old adage, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And you know that, but at the same time, I had been raised and kind of conditioned myself to think, but if you work hard enough, it'll all work out. If you just do what you do better. And I think for me, it was realizing that I had to do something different, that if I wanted something different had to begin. And that was hard. And there's a lot of risk. And when you're trying to be the other half of a support for a big family, you know, the risk feels a lot bigger than just picking up a phone and trying to get a client. It's what if I don't make it? What if I fail? What do I do? And realizing that if I do, I can do what I always did. But I don't want to look back and think I forgot or I didn't try.
Yes, you sound like so many clients that I talk with is when you would have rather have tried and failed than not tried at all and lived in regret.
Absolutely.
and something else you just touched on about all the things that could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We have an incredible faculty called our imagination. And we can use that imagination to be very creative and live in the land of possibilities and in our mind create images of what can be. Our imagination can also be very frightening. It can terrorize us. We can use it to imagine everything that could go wrong. Worst case scenario. It's not to say that we don't need to be aware of the possibility of what could be and be very realistic in our decisions. But what I hear from you is that you shifted from spending time creating what could be from a bad scenario or lack of support into the possibility of what could be if you stepped over here, and then you began to use your imagination differently. Is that a good summation?
Yes, it's great because so much, I'm not a fearful person, I wouldn't say, but I'm cautious. And it's not my own safety that I'm ever concerned about. It's making sure that my caution or the risks I take don't affect other people in a negative way. And I got a lot of people to worry about around here. So absolutely, to take my imagination and to imagine what it would be like to not be at a job every day that pulled me away from them, to drive them to school and pick them up and be there and be present, to imagine what those rewards would be like, regardless of my discomfort, really made the biggest difference. And then to experience it, reinforce that, and every day, even on the tough days when it's not easy, because it's not always easy.
Right.
It's a good reminder that my 15-year-old son still needs his mom at home in the afternoon. Even if it's only for a few minutes, he still needs one of us to be here.
Great. Now, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing the difficulty that you had and how you overcame it, because the story is so inspiring. I love hearing this. I want to hear about this incredible gift that you have created and the story around the gift, please.
The gift that I have today is a Trello board. If you're not familiar with Trello boards or Trello itself, it's a project management tool that's free. You can use it free of charge and have as many boards as you like, track as many different things as you like. Many of the folks that introduced me to Trello boards use them to run their businesses, run events, to plan dinners. You can use it for anything. And the story behind the evolution of my Trello board that I'm sharing with you today is I came to California to visit family for a week a couple of months ago, and I needed to be able to organize 3 or 4 adults and 3 kids and a ballet schedule and a band schedule and a gymnastics schedule and bus schedules and all those things that I take care of when I'm here. And I had used a very rudimentary paper system in the past, and it fell apart. So and
that was Post-it notes, right?
Yes, Post-it notes. And I would have needed an entire wall of my house to manage Post-it notes for a week. So we created this Trello board. I was able to get my kids and my husband. Everyone has their account. They all have access to the board. Everyone had a color. Everyone had a checklist. And every day of the week was organized right down to what's for dinner and what time the bus came and who was going to meet who, where, and what time practice was. And then from California, the benefit to me is I have it on my phone and I could make changes or edit things or move things around. If, they decided to do something different on Wednesday, I just moved dinner over to Thursday. And so it is a fantastic and very malleable way to keep a lot of balls in the air and everybody on board with that.
So you said this is something too that you use in your business?
Yes. Yeah, I also have a business board that organizes all of my clients. So my contact information for them, their contracts, the questionnaires that they fill out. Each person has a card, and I keep all of the links to everything for each person on that card. It's like a one-stop shop for me. And then also the benefit is when I'm mobile, I can log in from any computer and I can use it from my phone. So I don't have to be in my office at my desk or even have my own personal laptop. to be able to access my portfolio, a contract, documents. I can access all of that from anywhere as long as I can log in to Trello.com.
Isn't technology amazing? Oh my gosh. What we
Yes.
can do today versus 10 years ago. It's even this, the video, it's extraordinary. Oh, I could go on and on. One last question. Oh, please give us the link. And I also want you to post the link in the Facebook group where people can download the board.
Absolutely. The link is to the opt-in. I'll go ahead and pop it in the Facebook chat because it's not a memorable. It's a series of numbers.
Okay, good.
It's not a branded link, but I'll definitely pop that in the Facebook chat and make sure everybody has access to it.
Okay, and FYI, Jessica has a very busy schedule, as you can tell, with children. So this is pre-recorded because she has a parent-teacher conference coming up at the time we were going to air. So I'll just post the recording. Jessica, do you have any advice or encouragement or words of inspiration you can share with someone who is considering starting their own business?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to try, and don't be afraid to reach out and gather information and gather relationships, because the foundation of a good business is really ultimately going to be the relationships you build. It's not so much about buying and selling, although we do like that part of it, but it really is the relationships. And I think for my part, what encouraged me the most was meeting and finding people who had similar goals and similar businesses. And, you know, we encourage each other every day to be in a group like this here in our group. Please, you know, participate and ask questions and share your struggles and share your triumphs, because for me, that's where I've gotten so much value in this whole journey is knowing, well, some days it's, well, Susan did it and she believes I can do it, so I'm just going to suck it up and do it. And then some days it's a chance to say to someone else, oh no, you've got this. I've been where you are, and we can get you there. So here's a tip that I learned, and you don't have to struggle the way I did. So those relationships, I think, have been the biggest asset for me in business. Once I got over myself and said I was going to do it, to continue to nurture that journey and keep learning. Don't ever stop learning. Like you said, technology is a lot different now. It's going to be different tomorrow. Keep learning.
Fortunately and unfortunately.
Just as soon as I figured it out, they'll change it.
That's what keeps us on our toes. I also think that one of the characteristics I've discovered over the years with most of the clients that I've worked with is, like you and I, excuse me, Jessica, they are lifelong learners. Pardon me. They are not content with the status quo. There's always something more that they can learn. It's not to say that what we know isn't enough.
Right.
It's not what this message is about at all. Excuse me. Rather, it's the more we know, the more we can share.
Absolutely.
The more we can be of benefit, the more impact we can have on the world, however big or small our world is. And that's totally our choice. Awesome. I can't believe the time is up. This has been terrific. You've given me inspiration just in the story that you have shared, Jessica. Your story is so powerful, and I am delighted to have you in my sphere of influence and to benefit from your expertise, your uniqueness, literally on a daily basis. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure. And like you said, I can't imagine that the time has gone so quickly. I was quite apprehensive, and you've made this incredibly comfortable. And I'm so grateful to be a part of your sphere and get to work with you on a daily basis too. So thank you. And thank you for this group. It's fantastic.
We just have a real mutual admiration society going here, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Well, thank you, Jessica. For someone who admittedly was apprehensive, you have been a delight. So at ease, so relaxed and comfortable. Thank you for sharing your uniqueness with us, and continued success. That's my wish for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Fabulous Feature Friday, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye for now.